Welcome to episode 45 of 5 Minutes with Alex, a real estate podcast for the week of October 9th. In market news, we've seen some surprising dips actually in mortgage rates this week after last week's dramatic surges in mortgage rates with some wild swings in between. So what the heck is going on? Let's get you caught up. So last week we saw some jobs reports come out that seemed to indicate a really hot jobs market. And what happened throughout the day, late on Friday and over the weekend, is the market just didn't buy it. They started to poke holes in these reports as they had the opportunity to dig in deeper in their methodology. On top of that, there's the obvious geopolitical tension in Israel and Palestine, which is a horrific situation. But in our world, there's a flight to safety as investors are looking to pump money into perceived safer investments like mortgage bonds, which helps mortgage rates. And on top of that, we're also starting to see some dissension from key Federal Reserve members, with some breaking rank, like Fed Governor Christopher Waller, who's saying that the financial market is already doing enough tightening for them, and there's no need to raise rates. So what do you communicate with your clients? Well, I think after last week's mortgage rate surge, there was some panic from lenders and realtors that like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end, blah, blah, blah. But remember, the basics still remain. Home ownership is a good investment for those who are ready. We can't time the market. We can't control interest rates. But on top of that, it's about putting a roof over your head. You communicate the basics of home ownership, and we stay the course. In the Mortgage Corner, speaking of filtering out the noise, I wanted to briefly touch on the Fannie Mae announcement that I'm sure you saw every lender post about, that says that Fannie Mae is now going to allow 5% down on multi-unit properties. I saw a little bit of confusion on this, so I'm going to clear that up. So prior to this, if you wanted a conventional loan and you wanted to buy a multi-unit property as your primary residence, so 2 to 4 units, you needed to put down 15% if you're buying a 2-unit, or 25% if you were buying a 3 to 4 unit. Now starting November 18th, they'll allow someone to buy a primary residence with 5% down, but most lenders will have some options prior to this. So, like, for instance, we have some. Not all investors have come over, but eventually you'll start to see more and more. But here's where I really want to emphasize a key word here, and that is their primary residence. The second we start talking about multi-unit properties, I think people's mind switches over to investment properties, but the client needs to live in one of those units in order to qualify as their primary residence. This is not an invitation for investors to put 5% down. Those down payments still remain in effect. The other side to this is that this just more closely aligns conventional loans with their competitors like FHA or VA. Remember, you can get a multi-unit property with FHA for 3.5% down, or VA with 0% down. So yes, this is nice. It does give the consumer another option for these types of properties, but let's also keep this in perspective. There was already options for this kind of client. Finally, our quote of the week: don't tear yourself down when you have the power to build yourself up. That's by Cleo Wade. Have a great week, and if I can help you or any of your clients with any questions or pre-approvals, let me know. They can visit me at homeloanswithalex.com. Have a great week.